I'm going to talk today about how to replace yourself and scale easily in your business using the factory formula model. And I also call it the assembly line model. I'm going to turn my camera off, but this will be helpful if you can't seem to scale, if you're stuck in your business, if you feel your team's inefficient or you have quality control issues. This is going to take away complexity and add organization and order to your company. And as an overview, we're going to describe the steps to get to a consistent end result. And this is different than just SOPs. SOPs are a part of it, and I'll explain that as we go. But it's about the process, the workflows to get quality control. And this applies absolutely everywhere in your business, big and small. So this model, the factory formula model, it is proven successful, and it's proven to give absolute clarity to get the end result perfect. Henry Ford, the Industrial Revolution, and how he just structured every station of an assembly line to make the end result perfect. So let's go ahead and install this method of thinking into your head. First, it starts with the end result. So we have to define that end result. What result will the workflow produce? And let's list out all your workflows. So we're going to start with one, and it could be a product. It could be, the end result of your marketing or sales, right? But we're just going to build an assembly line for that. So let's look at this model, and we're just going to call X our end result, what we're trying to replicate. Well, this is the basic formula, right? You have your inputs, what goes in. This could be something that we're going to show in an example that is like physical, but it could also be information, customer information going into onboarding or something like that, right? So inputs come in, and then at each stage of the assembly line, someone or something, some automation might take that thing and do something to it to pass it on to the next. And then we do that thing again, and we do that thing again until the end result's made. So we're going to walk through an example, and pretty elementary example. I have kids, I've got twins on the way as I speak here. So sippy cup's high in my mind. Let's define X as a sippy cup. So to get this end result every time, if you are a factory owner and your business is a factory and you're producing this thing, we have our inputs like plastic. At this station, let's say the plastic gets molded. At this station, the plastic gets colored, right? So the thing that gets molded here gets colored here. And then at this station, maybe it gets hardened. And the end result is a consistent product every single time. So that's the gist. Now let's add some things to this model, right? Because this will apply to your business. What if it's not consistently perfect? What if you run this factory and you notice at the end result, 2 out of 10 times, 20% time, it's bad. It comes out wrong. Well, that's a waste of material. So a waste of your time, your team's time, and of course your money. You lose customers, you lose reviews because the 2 that got it are going to say that was not great. And you're opening up for the competition to come in here. And of course, you don't want to lose out. So you want to fix the problem. Well, now because you have it documented in this way, you can go back and find the problem. We'll talk about that in a second. But you can add quality control measures to each stage. And this may be overkill for this specific thing. You might just add a QC at one of these stages, but at this stage, the plastic has to be shaped, right? So output can be the exact same specifications each time. Goes to be exact same specifications on the coloring. If it's not, you can kick it out, right? So we've baked in quality control here to make sure that each stage of the process produces a good result, which is going to increase very high, this end result being perfect. So let's go to the next. And I mentioned it. What if you want to know, like, where are the issues happening, or how fast are things being produced, or how can I make my assembly line more efficient, or where are the blind spots that I'm missing? Can I not predict the output of when something will be ready? All those things. So this is where we build in KPIs. And in the model, we're going to just find a way to measure each stage. So in the sippy cup, the plastic comes in, and where it's created here, well, we might measure how long does it take, what's the error rate, right? We might measure what is the heat that it takes to make consistently, or what have been the temperatures in the oven, because maybe there's been an electrical drop, and we know, okay, that's why it was bad, or whatever the case, right? So we're going to bake KPIs in each station now to be thorough and know the feedback loop, to be able to get that data and know what's happening. So another element you can add to this, because now that it's structured in this assembly line model, well, we can get ourselves out, right? And we want to watch each step. So you don't want to watch each step. You just want to see the factory producing. So we're going to create a job. We're going to let go of the stress, and we're going to let others take over. So at each stage, now that it's defined, well, you can put the key hires, the who, right? People with experience who can manage it, and let them sink or swim, and let them document what they're doing. Let them use the data, and let them be held accountable to the quality control measures. And so that's it. Now we have the quality control, the data in place, and someone watching it. And now you've built a line that you can now get out of. So this is how you scale, and really, this is how you get replicable results. And I promise you, I don't have it in this slide, but one thing I talk about is the Mandelbrot set. If you're familiar with that, it's like end of Men in Black, where they zoom out and there's more galaxies, and we end up being like a marble that the aliens flick, something like that, right? The Mandelbrot set is describing, if you zoom in, things get bigger and bigger. So it's all about that scale. And that's the way it is for businesses, right? This concept applies. You could zoom into how to create something very granular in your business, very small, and there's still little steps you could lay out for absolute perfection. And the same as you zoom all the way back, right? Marketing leads to sales, leads to fulfillment. And so you can zoom in and out, and this is how you really make replicable results and fix any errors that are existing in your business. And you're going to have happy customers, you're going to keep order, and you'll know what's working and what's not. So the key to this here is to document. That's how you do it in a business. And with your business, if you've run it long enough, you found certain things that are successful. So we need to use those things that are successful as the end X in the model, right? So if I go back to that slide, use those things that you know are correct, and then we're going to document each stage. I'm going to show you exactly what we do. This is kind of the level up of how to document. So I'll start at the top of documenting things. So from the top, right, we have to get a factory view. What are all the workflows? This is what I call the operations heat map. This is something I created. And each box in here, under each department, marketing, sales, fulfillment, and admin, and you can't really see it, right? But each here represents the customer flow and all the workflows that have to happen, all of the assembly lines, right, that produce a result. So if I zoomed in on this box, this screenshot of this box, you would be able to read each workflow that happens in marketing that brings a customer along. The colors, the red, the yellow, the green that are in here just show how good is the process, right? It turns red if the process is not smooth and not listed. So I can see it in a big view here exactly what processes are working and what not, what aren't, and therefore be able to go in and do maybe quote unquote surgery on them, or look at the assembly line. With the documentation, it makes it easy. I don't have to go down on the assembly line and look at every piece, right? I can get reports back, and then we can take a look at the blueprint. Now, this is a flowchart, right? And this flowchart is the name of the person. So whoever is responsible for doing the thing, right? And again, just to be clear, like let's say this is in fulfillment and this is making websites for my clients and how we do that. So here's the person that starts it off. They have input that's listed in this box, this station, and they do the thing. And they create an output that then goes to the next person in this box, and they do the thing. And then the next person, the next box, and they do the thing. And you can see that if we map the process this way, right, nothing will get missed. Every input leads to an output, right, that is consistent. So input, do the thing, output, right, that goes to the next. And so that's how we model it for complicated processes. And if everyone does their thing at each step, then everything will happen smoothly, right? So Now, as far as people in charge, by the way, well, you can have someone in charge of marketing, leadership in charge of all marketing, and then each box could be laid out exactly how the cake gets made in each part. And then they can come in and debug it, right? So again, that Mandelbrot set, the levels and layers for you to be aware of. Well, now you know what it looks like. The final part to this also that I don't have written is the SOPs. This is what most business owners know, standard operating procedures written down. So if someone gets hit by a bus, you know exactly what to do. And where that fits, I'll show you back on the original model, would be right in this box of the station, right? Someone responsible for doing the thing. So in this type of thing, each box, it's what's the input, what is the thing that somebody does in order to make the output to then send it to the next station. So that's it. And that would be just written in documentation. And that's something that we love to do at those 3 levels, all workflows, the flow charts of each workflow, and then the SOPs. And so, like I said, this applies really to everything. The micro systems, the little stuff, doing payroll or entering data, to the big stuff, all the way up at department levels and at the business. So this model works for everything, for thinking. So applied to you, define what is an X, and do you have, how many steps does it take? You can lay those out, and you can bake in everything we've talked about here, and make everything repeatable. That's basically it. So really quickly, a little bit about me too. So I am founder at actually freethefounder.co. It's a podcast, and I train entrepreneurs to get free. That is my life's purpose. I just love it, and I love getting people for freedom. My story, I started a business. I became overwhelmed with the success of it in my 20s. I ended up setting systems and putting people in place just the way I showed you, and eventually got the business on autopilot. Soon after, I went away from that for another venture, and I became COO of a digital marketing company. We doubled it to 7 figures, and got him on a 3-month vacation after him being super stressed. So now I help, and I've solved many problems of many business owners in the same realm, and I want to help you. So lastly, this is kind of my overall philosophy of how operations work. Today we talked about replicable results, and that was really just key in documenting your past and documenting all of your processes, all of your workflows, all of your SOPs. The next 2 steps, I'll just briefly explain. The next 2 steps are future and present, right? So in operation sense, if you define your past and every result that needs to be created, if you define your future and document exactly where you are going and what things tangibly need to be done at what deadlines to make progress forward, and you lay that out, the past and the future, well, guess what? Now you have a team that you can hold accountable to executing those things in the present, the day-to-day, and you can use data and you can use project management systems to do it. So that's how I help free CEOs from the day-to-day operations, is defining the past, defining and documenting the future, and then placing people to make sure that we hold the team accountable with our system. So use that. I hope this was helpful. I hope it was somewhat insightful, and I hope it changed the way you think to get yourself out of operations. Go change the world, and we'll see you around, and would love to speak with anybody because I just love meeting CEOs that are passionate about doing their thing. See you soon. Thanks.